Okay, Chapter 6 is directly above us. We cannot take the elevator any farther, so we're just going to climb.
Really makes me wonder, how do the workers get up here?
This ladder will not be here for you yet. Again, we're playing on a completed file, so there won't be a ladder here. But there's Chapter 6. So Chapter 6 loads into a forest. Right now, the forest is green. It will not remain so. Foreshadowing. Alright, more bunny hops, despite being on flat ground. Yeah, you see, I'm not getting ahead of Ray right now at all. I do this out of habit.
I don't, out of laziness.
There you go. Ordinarily, you're supposed to pull this thing up, and then you do a couple of wall jumps. We're not going to do that, because that's faster. Alright, there's several ways to do this puzzle. We'll show you our current preferred strategy, which, if it's not the optimal solution, I don't know what is. So here we go. Ta-da!
And then we jump up. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. To do that, Ray waits as far to the left as she can. She can't go any farther than this because she slides down. I go until basically I'm underneath this green thing, whatever it is, and then I zoop. She cancels me up, and then zoops to me. The second half of it is the same, actually, for a couple of different solutions. One of us stands on the left, one of us stands on the right. It's important to stand on the far side of it because this is a weight. If Ray were to come over to the right side, it'd do that. Ah! Help, help, help. There we go. So here, zoop, and there you go. We're not going to proceed yet because I'd like to demo a different solution. The other solution that we used to use until pretty recently is this. Pull that down. Oops. And then kind of get a little bit of a swing. Wait for it to right itself. And then do the exact same thing. Neither of those is the intended solution.
But the intended solution is terrible.
Yeah, the intended solution is very slow, so we won't bother demonstrating it. But either of those work. Honestly, I think the optimal solution is easier, assuming that your partner is good at zoop cancels.
But it is a hard zoop cancel, so if it's not easier for you and you want to do this one, that's fine. Or if you find something else that works for you, do that. There are so many ways through all of these puzzles.
Yep, as we have said and will continue to say, this is not the right route. There is no such thing as the correct route. It's one that works for us. Whoop. So Ray's going to zoop to me. All right, coming up, we have probably the most important cutscene skip in the game. There's an electric fence here. I'm going to just keep walking past it. You see how it's hooked up to like a car battery? Ray's going to electrocute herself. That's very important. He lied. You don't have to do it, but you see how we're very, very far apart. We're as far apart as we can be right now. Ray likes to ensure that is true by just standing still until the yarn becomes taut and I stop walking, and then she starts walking with me. So we're continuing on.
Because there's a cutscene trigger here, but you both have to hit it. So instead, as soon as Ryan hits the corner of that tent, I'm going to jump and zoop. I'm never going to touch the cutscene trigger. And now the forest is on fire, but we didn't see it happen.
Yep. Yeah, we just skipped a big cutscene. It just didn't happen. Congratulations, you skipped it.
That one's hard.
Yeah, we'll do that one more time. So the intended solution here involves pulling this thing up and climbing this net.
Blah, blah, blah,
yeah, it's very slow and boring, and I don't want to do it.
This is a lot like that underground room in chapter 3, where I am going to go right so that I cancel him left. So when he jumps up, I'm also jumping up.
Yep, so I'm going to jump onto the wall and then zoop. She's going to get me altitude.
And leftward.
And leftward, and I'm going to grab the anchor directly above. and then she zoops to me, and we're on top of that big, I'm going to guess that's a John Deere tractor? I don't know.
It's awfully green. Seems John Deere-ish to me.
Yep.
But yeah, that one's a really hard one, so if you're having a hard time with that, I don't think that's something you need to feel bad about.
Yeah, feel free to figure out other solutions. The intended solution is not fast, but it's not hard, so... Well, hello, cigarettes. And yeah, you'll see the forest sure is burning.
Okay,
I wonder how that happened. Yeah, there's a couple of things I have to pull these knots, and when I do, this tree is gonna fall. So I'm gonna zoop.
Cancel. Zoop. Off.
Don't get crushed by the tree.
Lots of ways through this room too.
Yeah, the way we do this is probably not the fastest way to do it, but it works well for us. I'm gonna zoop up.
Cancel.
And then you tie a bridge here.
L. I'm gonna go over to the right and pull this down.
You see that so, hang on. Don't jump up. So when I tied this knot here, I'm gonna jump over to the left. You can swing over to the left and then grab onto it. Jumping is faster than swinging though. So what I do is I press right on the joystick so that I kind of grab onto this cliff face here, and then I jump and immediately press left. Like so. And then I tie another knot, and I have a bridge. I'm going to jump up on the bridge. Maybe. Come on. Jump up on the bridge. Usually that only takes one jump. Ray's going to swing all the way over to the bridge. Usually that only takes one jump.
Mm-hmm.
I cancel the knots. She zoops to me, and we move through the next screen.
There are some faster solutions that I have seen, but we tried them, and what you just saw was safest for us. Again, we are safe strats, are fast strats people.
It's a deceptively difficult room. I recommend practicing it a lot to find whatever is going to be fastest for you. You notice kind of how the farther we get into this game, the more alternative solutions and non-optimal strats and things there are that get used, because the game just gets harder. So that was
and the game gets more dangerous. And like I just said, safe strats are the fast strats, right? So we especially are runners who will almost always prioritize not dying over the fastest possible strat.
Yep, definitely. So we kind of talked through that whole last screen.
It was just swinging.
Do what we did. Yeah, there's some vine climbing, some net climbing, some swings. We didn't do anything that wasn't intended, but you have to do it quick because there are cigarettes coming for you. Okay, the intended solution in this screen involves having to hide down at the bottom here.
I don't even honestly know how it works.
It's been a long time since we've done the intended method. Because if you look all the way over to the right, there's some smoke there. That's a cigarette just waiting. There's a couple of different ways we have done this. I'll show you what we used to do, and then I'll show you what we have started doing recently. I much prefer the new method, but if you're not good at zoop cancels, it can be tough. So here we go. Oh wait, actually, get on me.
Sorry, I thought I was.
You were, and I dropped you. So I'm going to jump there. You jump pretty late.
And then you can make it up there in one jump.
Yep. So if you jump really late, before you fall into that hole, but only barely before you fall into that hole, you can jump onto the vine, climb the vine, and then jump onto the anchor point and swing over. But we no longer use the vines at all.
Cancel.
Hey, come on. And then just climb up. All right, here is a good place to mitigate fall damage. So if I were... Well, actually, here, I'll just show you. If I don't jump, bonk, I get fall damage. So, I want to jump. Jump. No fall damage. If I do suffer fall damage, remember, Ray is merged to me. So if your partner is merged to you, hop right off, and you can cancel that fall damage.
And I'll just start running, and as soon as he can zoop up to me, and he won't have lost any time.
Okay, here we have to walk on hot stuff, and yarn is flammable. Rule of thumb: you are allowed to step on the hot coals twice. You can step on it, jump, step on it, jump, and then if you step on it a third time, you're going to burn up and die. That is very important. It's also a rule we're going to break here in a minute. And we'll show
really.
you. Yeah, well.
We're going to take advantage of.
We're going to take advantage of. There you go. We're going to bend it. We're going to bend the rule. But for the most part, don't spend any more time on the hot stuff than you have to. Okay. There's like a million different ways to solve this screen here. Mm-hmm. I'll show you a couple. I'll open with what I do, which is pretty darn fast. So, I landed on a burning tree trunk, just very briefly there, and then jumped off of it and onto another anchor. Slower ways, you can just make sure that you're landing on anchors all over the place. There's an anchor down below you that you can use if you really want to. That one there. So just, make liberal use of those anchors, but that is a little bit slower. You can also, we used to do this. Remember, you get 2 jumps. Jump, jump, anchor, anchor. Do it that way if you want.
Swinging is faster than walking, so not necessarily the fastest way through.
So, however works for you. I like that. You let go of that first anchor point really, really quickly. You land on the tree branch. You get off the tree branch before you die. And then you move right along. These tree branches disintegrate, so don't stay on them for very long. This is just a really quick wall jump. Wall jump off as fast as you can, just to do it as quickly as possible. Okay. Here we have what I think is the most difficult skip in the game. We call this log roll skip or fire walking. Remember what I said about only being allowed to step on the coals twice before you burn up?
But also remember, fall damage only affects the Yarny who's in control.
Yes. The idea here, I will talk about the theory before we do it. The idea here is the intended solution is this log that I'm standing on currently. You can kind of see it in the background here. The log that I'm standing on right now will start to roll. And all I have to do is stay on top of the log, and it will roll all the way across this floor, and I'll be fine. But I think it's about 8 seconds faster than that is the log roll skip or the fire walking. The theory behind it is you, as a merged Yarny, you jump onto the coals, you take. And this will vary depending on the console you're running, but on PC, this is kind of the setup that we found works. You take maybe a step and a half, and then you jump. And then you take another about step and a half, and then you jump. And while you're in the air, you unmerge and then remerge with the other Yarny in control. And then they take about a step and a half and jump, take about a step and a half and jump. Unmerge, remerge with the other Yarny in control. Rinse and repeat. I think it's a grand total of 8 jumps. And if you do it correctly, you don't die. We're gonna demonstrate it here.
Jump, 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 and out.
Made it. So there you go. That's fire walking or log roll skip.
But the timing is very different depending on what console you're on, because I know when we get good at it on PC, we forget how to do it on PS4 and kind of vice versa. Mm-hmm. So you just kind of have to play around with it, and good luck.
Yeah. You, rules of thumb for it, regardless of console, you can't walk for very long. If you're going to take any steps on the coals, they can't be more than 2 or 3 tops.
Total.
Maximize your air time. The more time you spend in the air, the less time you spend on the coals, duh. But also, the Yarny that is not in control needs time to cool off. So the higher you jump, the longer between unmerging and remerging, and the more time that Yarny will have to cool off. So, good luck. It takes a fair amount of practice, but it is significantly faster than just rolling the log. If you can't get it, it's not a big deal. Our current PS4 PB uses the log. We didn't even bother going for log roll skip because when we had that PB, we had been running on PC for a very long time, and we hadn't really touched the PS4. And the timing is so much different on console that we didn't feel like learning it. So we didn't go for that skip, and still had a really good time. So there you go. All right, moving on.
Yeah, important to remember that this game is not so optimized that you have to do every single skip. Do the skips that are fun for you, and if there's one that's just stressing you out, you don't have to do it. I give you permission.
Don't get killed by that log. Log? That wasn't a log, that was a rock. Don't get killed by that rock. I can definitely accurately identify plants and animals.
A rock is a plant or an animal?
Whatever. Things.
I can
All right,
identify nouns.
Skate down here, jump off that tree, and then ride that log. Pull this tree down. Alright, speaking of not going for every skip and trick, here's one that we know the optimal solution for this, and we don't do it.
We can try it.
I'll show you kind of quickly the semi-optimal version of this, or sorry, the semi-intended version of this. I would stand here, jump up. Well, maybe not. Hang on.
No, I have to push that. We can't
do
it. No,
Ray would push this up. I would jump up and tie a knot up here to pull that thing down. It's very slow and forever taking, and I don't want to do it. The optimal solution just involves double zoop shifts. Ray would zoop shift me up, and then while I'm up here, I zoop shift Ray up. But again, I'm really bad at zoop cancels. And when it goes wrong, often it will cause a weird tangle where Ray will be like stuck below the ground. Mm-hmm. So instead, we do a non-optimal version that means I don't have to do a zoop cancel, and it looks like this.
Yeah, we had a PB here once that literally lost 90 seconds to us attempting to do it the fast way.
Yeah.
So instead, we now just eat the 10-second difference instead of losing time.
Yep. So yeah, I push the log over just, all the way to the left side so that Ray can jump up instead of having to zoop cancel. And then she does a zoop cancel for me because she's really good at them. And then we stand in this light. Now, you see the thorns on the far right side of the screen. Once again, you can infinite wall jump or zoop wall jump over these thorns. But
not in NMS.
Those are not allowed mechanics in NMS.
You can't skip any invisible walls or loading points like that in NMS.
Yep. So we're going to step into the light, and as before, we're going to regain control of the Yarnies before you can see them. So as soon as this cutscene starts, Ray is going to start holding zoop, and I am holding right and bunny hopping. As
you can see our yarn, so we'll know when I have zooped.
There you go.
Bye.
And because I'm holding right, before that vine even disappears, I'm already all the way over here. Because for some reason, it just lets me walk right through the vine. You got 3 big swings here. And you want to get all 3 of those if you can, because swinging's faster than walking. Whee!
And zoop.
You don't want to zoop that too early because you can get tangled.
Inside the rock.
Yeah, inside of that rock. So if you're the zooper, wait until you're pretty close to the fire, but not, so close that you're going to die. Here's a fun little skip. 1, 2. Ta-da! Jump backwards here. Alright, Ray's going to wait behind, just because we find that this is slightly faster than both of us going. She's going to wait behind again. Notice little things that we do, like if we're swinging each other, I'll swing Ray over to where she's supposed to be, and then before she even lands, I have already begun my portion of the swing. Little time saves like that will shave a lot of time off of your run over the course of, a little more than an hour that this takes. We got our kids in the background there trying to save some animals from the barn because the barn's on fire. And honestly, I don't remember whose fault that is because we haven't seen that. Whoa. Because we haven't seen that cutscene in so long, I could not tell you whose fault it is that there's a forest fire. Sorry, our game's throwing a little bit of lag at us right now. Jump through there. All right, we're going to have some fall damage upcoming. Ray's going to get off me. She gets off me pretty late. If you get off really early, then both Yarnies will end up with fall damage.
So just make sure that the other Yarnie has, in fact, fallen over before you unmerge.
Yeah, our game's not running very smoothly right now. Sorry about that.
Hopefully it looks okay to you.
This piece of wood that I'm standing on right now, it is possible to swing from the previous anchor point to our right onto the right side of this wood and just do a wall jump. Saves you a little bit of time. It's a nice little swag thing. You can go for it if you want. But if you miss it, it's not a big deal. Alright, Ray's going to get off of me as soon as she can. And I'm just going to follow her. She's tying 2 knots. And as soon as she has tied those knots, I'm going to jump, grab that. She's going to jump, grab that. And that goes down. On PC, that is a nice, elegant solution. On consoles, it can be a little bit harder to do that right. You'll figure it out.
Sometimes you just have to cancel the knots before it'll fall.
Sometimes you have to give it a third yank on that wheel. Figure out, you know, what your console and what your game is gonna do, and it'll be fine. Hey, it's a moose. Our kids freed the moose. I do know the difference between a horse and a moose, by the way. It's a running joke with us. I don't know why. All right, and that's the end of Chapter 6. Only one chapter to go. Chapter 7. Fortunately, there's a lot less fire in Chapter 7. Unfortunately, there's a lot more water.
There's also fire in the water.
And there's also fire in the water.
We'll see you soon!
You got one last cutscene to skip, if you are skipping cutscenes, and then we will see you in Chapter 7.